On this channel, we also talk about vexillology, and if you've seen these videos, on no occasion have I had to explain the meaning of purple, because it turns out that almost no flag has this color. To be more specific, currently only 2 national flags have some shade of purple, and laughably, Dominican Republic in the gold that appears in its image, and Nicaragua that if you zoom in, you can see it in the rainbow of the shield. Have you ever wondered why? To find out, stay until the end of the video, but before you forget, subscribe to the channel as we will be uploading 3 videos a week so you won't miss them. To understand this vexillological curiosity, it would be good to briefly review the history of the color purple, which, as you know, is obtained from the mixture of red and blue. It turns out that since ancient times, it was a color that, while known to exist in some flowers, there was no way to dye it on any fabric. This issue would not be resolved until the appearance of the Phoenicians. As you may know, the Phoenicians were an important Semitic civilization related to the current Hebrews and Arabs, whose origin is in present-day Lebanon, and they are the direct predecessors of the Carthaginians, who emerged as a power in the Mediterranean. The Phoenicians discovered how to dye fabrics purple, albeit in a very costly and violent way. This color was obtained after crushing 2 species of snails on their coasts. It was first done in the city of Tyre and then spread throughout the Mediterranean. Each mollusk gave a single drop of dye, so to obtain 30 grams of purple color, the death of about 250,000 snails was required. For this reason, purple clothing was extremely expensive. And since people like to differentiate themselves, over time the color purple became associated with high social status, which is why it was constantly used by the Roman aristocracy, and various emperors used only this color. Although, to tell the truth, there is no certainty about what shade of purple was achieved by this method, as there is no physical evidence, and rather it is known from written descriptions, like that of Pliny the Elder in his work Natural History. Returning to vexillology, it should be taken into consideration that during the ancient age, few states designed their own flag, whose use began to spread from the Middle Ages. One of the few flags that carried purple was that of the Crown of Castile in a fairly light shade, leaning towards red, perhaps to save on the great costs that this dye still implied. During the modern age, flags were mostly used in Europe and the Middle East, and it's not like there were a large number of states, as for a long time, both regions were ruled by large empires. That is, there was a smaller range of flags, almost none of which carried purple. Even during the independence of the American countries, the extremely high prices of the color purple discouraged countries from choosing purple for their flags, except for the Central American Republic, which used it in the rainbow. This situation would not change until 1856, when the English chemist William Henry Perkin accidentally discovered that the color purple could be synthetically produced using a chemical dye he called mauveine. By that time, more than half of the world was still colonized, and most of the independences of the current countries took place from the second half of the 19th century. So why didn't they use purple for their flags if it was no longer so expensive? In Europe, after so many centuries associating this color with royalty and the clergy, most countries wanted to seek independence as a republic, so purple was not a good option. The only major exception was the flag of the Second Spanish Republic, whose purple in the lower stripe is sometimes associated with Castile, although this had a lighter shade. Another meaning of purple is associated with a supposed flag used by the Comuneros, the revolutionaries who participated in the revolts in the communities of Castile in 1520. And in the 19th century, a society of liberals was formed with the same name against the absolutism of Fernando VII. Moving to other regions of the world, such as Africa and the Middle East, modern countries achieved their independence during the 20th century. In the case of the Middle East, most countries used the pan-Arab colors, red, black, green, and white, while in Africa, many used those of pan-Africanism, yellow, red, black, and green. Slavic countries, on the other hand, used blue, white, and red, while in Oceania, almost entirely colonized by the United Kingdom, the use of the Union Jack became popular. As you can see, the color purple was not used in flags initially due to its extremely high cost, and later due to its association with the monarchy. When these factors ceased to be determinant, many countries adhered to the various groups of flags that lacked purple. What other flag do you know that has used this color? Don't forget to leave your comment and subscribe to the channel. Also, I leave in the description my social networks, and in case you want to see the new videos in preview and have a greater interaction with me, your donations on Patreon or channel members are welcome. See you next time.